Alright, people. So what I got here is 1992 Honda Civic VX hatch. It was 1.5 D15 Z1 engine. Now this video is a really quick one. It's about how to install the rear main seal. Well, first of all, I'm not gonna do the video like everybody else does, where they put the camera and they just show how they take every bolt. It's just obvious. What I'm going to do is what I haven't found on anybody else's video. I'm gonna explain to you the torque specs and what the reason what I did and why I did it. So real quick, to get to my rear main seal, I had to take my transmission out. I had to take my clutch and my flywheel. They're right there. I also had to, since my engine was on the ground, I had to lift it up and lower my oil pan, because this bolt right here, these two are the part of this I guess I should say rear main seal bracket. So even if you take these four off, these two, you'd still have to you won't be able to slide this upwards because the crank won't allow you. You have to slide this way, so that's why the pan will have to be dropped. Now what I did after is I cleaned the surfaces of both the block mating surface and the back of that plate that houses the rear main seal inside. Then what I did is I put two wooden blocks like this, and just here's the old one. Just imagine the housing is here, and I put this like this way, flipped upside down, and I took a screwdriver and I hit on it and just fall out of this way. Then what you do is you obviously want to clean the inside of that the race right here on the inside. Make sure that it have no abrasions, nothing. If it does, sand it out, not too much, but make sure it's smooth. And then what you do is, here's what the book calls for. If you are not going to ride the engine within a day or so, they recommend, instead of putting the oil around it and then putting the whole assembly in, they recommend like a engine lube. Hold on a second, I don't know what it's called. There you go, I forgot. Motor assembly white grease or something like this. The reason for this is because if it's gonna stand for another couple of days and then you're gonna start cranking it, the oil will drip out and they might actually void the warranty on your seal, because seal might rip. So anyway, so what I did is, now once you knock the old one out and then you clean on clean internals, then you place this plate face up. Before it was face down, so you can knock it out. The reason why you're gonna place it face up, because once you remove the old seal out, you'll notice you have a notch inside. In other words, you can only put this from the above, not from the inside. And that's good, because what you do is you put it on and then you start hitting it, and it would, that notch inside would sit flush with the inside part of this lip, and then you would know that it's 100% in. So with this thing, this specific rear main seal, there's no such thing, oh, is it in this way or is it in this way? It allows it to you just have to hammer it down evenly for the inner lip to touch the notch, the little lip out there, Now, how do you do it? It's your own preference, of course. I had this big socket. Well, it's a special socket, but I end up cutting it. I don't need it. And what I did is, because the surface, some people take like screwdriver or some punches and they punch like this into it. Well, the bigger the surface, the better you off. Of course, if I had a long if I had a big ass thick, just as thick as the gasket, the seal itself, circular socket like this that would go on top of it, and then you could just hammer right on the middle and you're guaranteed it'll go evenly. But I didn't have that luxury, so I had this. This is the biggest one I have. So what I did is, imagine this is on between the wood blocks. So I would put it like this, and I would go slowly, slowly, slowly all the way around. Once this is all the way around, you would flip it back, you look, and basically your goal is to flush it out with that lip that this piece have. Once this is done, this gasket should, this seal should come with a gasket. If it doesn't, I guess suppose you can make one from one of those, gasket makers, like gray material that they sell, because that's pretty much what it is right here. What you do is, the book recommends, the manual recommends that you put tiny bit of a gasket material, the RTV around it. So what I did is I put RTV like this. I put it like this and around the circle over the gasket. Then I glue the gasket on top of the plate, and then I turn it over and I put another one like this. I didn't go around the bolts, so basically if you could see through it, it'd be like this. And then, it's obviously you do this after you clean the surfaces. I used acetone to dry them up for the better adhesion. And then the most important one, and that's where I said that most of the guys don't even mention. The book calls for 7 or 8 foot-pounds of torque on those 4 bolts. So that's very important, because I did some Googling and I saw some people say 90. Well, that's what their source said, but it's impossible, because how could this little 10mm bolts handle 90? So this is 8 foot-pounds. So what you do, you put it on, and that's the next step. Is not necessarily a book called it for. It's more of my preference. What I did, I didn't just go like in a row, tightening down. First I tightened by hand, and then I start crisscrossing. So I put 5 foot-pounds, 5 foot-pounds, 5, 5, and then I went again 8, 8, 8, 8. So as you can see, I don't know, it's not really a perfect gasket, I guess, because the gasket, it's not just the sealant, the gasket sticks out. It might be on the way of your pan gasket. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna wait. Once it's hardened, I'm gonna slice it down with a sharp razor. Also, since I'm already kind of talking about this, when I personally will be putting the pan on, I would like to put a little dab of RTV right in the corner of here and in that other corner, just for safety. I know some people will say, oh, shit doesn't leak, it works perfect all the time. Well, I guess with their luck it does. So that's about it, guys. That's about it for the rear main. I'm gonna do a couple others, and I'll upload them in a row, I guess. Oh, since I already did the thermostat, I'm just gonna give you a real quick tour about it as well. I figured, if I have this whole engine apart, might as well do thermostat. So I took those 10mm bolts off, and this gasket popped out. I'm not sure if this is like original or non-original. It kind of looks original, because you see how I have the second for the second bolt, but it makes no sense because second bolt is non-functional. It's just the book calls it for a ground, believe it or not, but whatever. I forgot what it was on it. I guess I'll find out as I go. So what I did is, I didn't have a gasket. My new thermostat didn't come with it, but the thermostat itself, the old one, had a really good rubber gasket. I'm talking about the gasket that goes right on top of the thermostat. So what you do is you obviously clean everything, mating surfaces, and you put that rubber gasket on it, and you place it. You must place it with the pin up. That little thing, you have to face up. There'll be a little notch there anyway, so you won't miss it. You place it like this, and then you place. And then what I did, instead of, I could have put without no gasket, because that rubberized over the thermostat kind of gasket is thick. When I laid it over, I could see that it's gonna squish. But what I did is I put a tiny bit of same RTV all around it. And also these bolts are also 7 foot-pounds, foot labs, whatever. So what I did is, I put them up, and again I did in sequence. I did 5-5, then 8-8, just in case. All right, check out my other videos. There will be soon other stuff coming up, like flywheel installment, clutch, timing belt, and other stuff.